government action under the corporate mandate. Do you know this? Not even the courts are defending us.
Yesterday, I released a video on this channel entitled Mob Rule. It documents my honest observations of what took place in Bedford Row, Limerick City, at a protest involving members of the Irish Freedom Party. In this video, I want to explore a lesson in liberalism, as I believe the evidence would suggest that Irish educational institutions are failing miserably. I wish to present the following comment, which was posted on my video. Owen appears to have a belief that rights should have more power depending on who, or indeed how many, should exercise those rights. But let's take his example of the right to freedom of speech and discuss how poor behaviour can have a detrimental effect on liberty. I will try to keep this very simple. To use a preferred word of the left, would it be tolerant for me to interrupt another individual every time they wanted to speak? Would I be serving the values of liberty, or even morality itself, if I used my freedom to make noise in order to shout down an individual trying to express themselves through the medium of speech? Would I be serving the rights of others in the room, or in this case the street, if I denied them their right to listen? The answer is obviously no. And it pains me to have to explain such basic lessons in manners to adult men and women. No, suffocating an individual's right to freedom of speech by making noise and being disruptive does not serve anything resembling liberalism or tolerance. In fact, it is quite the opposite. But let me put it another way. Would it be in your best interests as a free citizen and a believer in liberty and indeed tolerance, if I chose to exercise my right to peacefully stand wherever I wanted? What if I were to stand directly in your path and maneuver in front of you every time you attempted to avoid me? Would exercising my right to stand where I wanted, so that it interfered with your right to freedom of movement, be an act of liberalism? The answer, once again, is no. In both instances, the individual who chooses to act in ways which serves to diminish both the right to freedom of speech and freedom of movement is a tyrant, and anybody exercising such power over their fellow man is therefore intolerant. I submit, such are the most basic lessons in manners and are typically learned on the playground at a very young age. In yesterday's video, I referred to those who spent their time screaming, whistling, and being disruptive as intellectually disabled, and I truly believe it. The same people who preach tolerance while acting in the most intolerant ways. This paradox of utter stupidity is fast becoming the dominant tool to dealing with disagreement in Irish society, and it must be confronted and exposed at every possible opportunity. Only a short few years ago, disagreement was exercised through debate and exploration of ideas, and indeed a reasonable concession. Today, disagreement is exercised by acting like a lunatic, as evidenced in my video. Before closing, I have a message for those of you who scream Nazi or fascist in the face of your ideological opposition. I know that you have no idea what those words mean. I know that you chant such words over and over again because you lack the mental capacity to explain why you are upset. I know such words serve as substitute for argument. I know that chanting such words that don't require much brain power to remember gives you a feeling of great virtue and moral superiority, however false it may be. I also know that you struggle with life and that you are looking for a meaningful purpose. I am sorry that your existence needs to be validated and that your lack of intellectual sophistication has led you down such a confused and deeply illiberal path. But the ice you skate on is melting, and I suspect that the decent, freedom-loving patriots of this nation will only take so much of your insane shit.